Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Hello everyone, we are going to introduce the death penalty. The death penalty is one of the old penalties in the world. It refers to the power granted by the state organs based on the law to end the life of prisoners. Now that the 95 countries have clearly abolished the death penalty. The 9 countries stipulate that the death penalty is only carried out under particular circumstances, such as war. The 35 countries have imposed the death penalty, but there has been no execution case in the past 10 years. The 58 countries is still remain the death penalty. Although the death penalty is an action punishment, since the past century, the issue of its abolition has been controversial because it refers to the legal, political, religious, social, ethical, whether it is supported or not. People can propose kind of argument.
Everyone says that we need to give the death sentence some human rights, but think about other sides. Think about other sides. Someone says we should give a chance for them to continue life. But can you give those dead people another chance to come alive again? There is an example. In 2012, a man went in the playground and adopted a little boy in a toilet and then killed him in a cruel way. After he was arrested, he said he thought this act should not get the death penalty, since he just killed 1 or 2 people. If you are the parents of the little boy, can you say that you want to give him another chance to keep his human rights? Not only you can't see your child grow up, but you can't see his bright smile anymore. Maybe the murder happened long time ago. You find out that he is still alive in the prison. Although he lost his freedom, he still have lives. And think about your kids again. If he was alive, maybe he would have got married or have a wonderful life. Also, can you be still willing to give a criminal human rights? If everyone required equality, all criminals will keep their lives. All criminals can keep their lives, but at the same time, think, what about the victims? We need the equality even higher than the life of the victims. Since we have no experience in this matter, do we have right to say if it is right or wrong? Many people said we should give more attention to the death sentence human rights. But I think they are a little bit hypocritical. After all, we are not the person whose son or daughter was murdered.
Taiwan has not abolished the death penalty yet, but in 1849 the Roman Republic abolished the death penalty, and then Canada, Australia, France, England have abolished it. The death penalty is not a panacea for solving crime problem. From a punishment point of view, the imprisonment has more painful and intimidating effect. Modern punishment is re-educate, not litigation. And the prevention and the correction are the main objectives. The criminal can support themselves and compensate the victims through labor. The law stipulates says no killing, but killing to punish the offender is contradicting. The death penalty not only has no scale resistance, but has a paralyzation effect. That is the existence and the escalation of death penalty will increase the criminal rate of murder. The protection of criminal victims is as important as the abolition of the death penalty. The death penalty violates the right of life. So it's not constitutional. In substance, the death penalty does not protect the victims and also does not solve any problems.
Enlarge the case of misjudgment. Misjudgment is the important reason of abolish for death union. Under the influence of the media, many people continue enlarge the 10% of the case happened before and keep on asking those as example for abolish death penalty. But what about the last remaining 90%? They are truly the bad guys. They do bad things in their mind. They do what they do without empathy. Like these two events. This guy, he killed people in random on the Taipei MRT. And this is a group. They spilled the poison gas in Tokyo's subway. But although those events happened, many people still believe that as long as there still has possible to happen misjudge it, the death penalty should always be abolished. That sounds strange, just like telling us not to drive a car because we may happen an accident. We can't promise that we will not hit somebody else or somebody else will not hit us. The death penalty has misjudged it, just as the traffic also has the accident.
In the end, even if it's in prison for misjudged. If Megan is in prison in misjudged, if his prison is priceless. The problem between death and imprisonment is miscalculation. It happens in any culture or judging culture. Misjudgment is a 100% inevitable problem that happened. So what can we do is to reduce the miscalculation of the rate. And some people take the Americans, some country in America has abolished their death penalty, and some people take their criminal rate hasn't increased to refer to that death penalty isn't effective. But if death penalty isn't effective, then imprisonment isn't effective too. We put there has a prison, but there still have crime. Just the same logic. And otherwise, we put they in prison, and people still have to pay the money for their prisoners' housing, eating, and clothing. It's really strange. And they can come out we have to pay for their eating, housing, clothing for 25 years. Because if a person who's supposed to be in prison for a long time, forever, but he have a good performance in the prison, he can leave the jail in advance in his 25 years. Above to the talk, I agree death penalty.
I'm going to say a story. 1996, a rape and murder case happened in the enemy army. A 20 years old man named Zhang Guoqing. This one. He was arrested as a criminal because people thought he did. Because of the chief officer put pressures, so the supervisor said Zhang Guoqing did the crime. They used a shock rod to interrogate Zhang Guoqing about 37 hours, and then Zhang Guoqing confessed. On August 1997, he was executed by shooting. Before he died, he read a testament. He said, "The girl was not killed by me. I will transfer into a horrible ghost to find out all of people who said I did." And after the death of Zhang Guoqing, the police found out the murder isn't him. So the government gave Zhang Guoqing's parents about 100 million. So every day years October 10 is Zhang Guoqing's birthday, and through the internet connect, some people will 10 minutes and 10 seconds of mourning in Taipei Free Square. The end. I don't suppose the death penalty. The following is my reasons. First, the wrong judgment could happen.
The second, money can be used to as compensation, but a life cannot be remanded. The last, the judgment's decision is subjective, and they should not have the power to kill somebody or take away somebody's life.
Supporters of the death penalties are often considered not to care about prisoners. But if your family were killed today, will you still advocate abolishing it? For me, I suppose the death penalties. First, I think it is a necessary way to deal with specific visual crimes in order to maintain social stability. The government should use the death penalty to punish those people. Second, when a person murders and he gets sentenced to life imprisonment, I think it is a waste of resources. In short, the death penalty helps society become stable. The death penalty has always been a controversial issue. Some people support it and some people not. I think it is better to communicate than to argue who is right or wrong. Thank you for your listen.